Hello everyone, and I welcome you all to my channel. Today we are going to explore one of the most powerful poems in English literature, Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley. This beautiful poem tells the story of a traveler who describes the ruins of a giant statue in the middle of a desert. The statue was built in honor of Ozymandias, a proud and powerful king. Now the statue is broken and half buried in the sand. Only the legs and the fish remain. However, the face still shows the king's arrogant and commenting expression, which the sculpture captured perfectly on the pedestal. And on the pedestal, some words written. And these words are: My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty and despair. However, this poem tells us that nothing of his empire remains, only the ruins and the endless desert. This shows the irony that Ozymandias wanted people to admire his greatness, but time has erased all traces of his power. Shelley teaches that human pride and power are temporary, while time and nature are eternal. Okay, so before we proceed with the poem, I would like to talk about the poet Percy Bysshe Shelley. So, if I would like to talk about the poet, then I have to say that Percy Bysshe Shelley was one of the greatest English romantic poets. He is known for his beautiful imagination, idealism, and love for nature and freedom. Shelley believed in power of poetry to bring change in the world. Some of his famous poems include To a Skylark, Ode to the West Wind, Adonias, Prometheus Unbound, and etc. His writing expresses deep emotions like hope and idea that human pride and power do not last forever. Although he died very young in a boating accident, Shelley's poems continue to inspire readers with their music, passion, and message of hope and truth. The poem starts with this line which says that I met a traveler from an antique land. So the poet says that he met a traveler who came from an ancient land or civilization. And this traveler said to him, what did he say? He said, two vast and trunkless lakes of stone stand in the desert. So the traveler described a huge statue, only two large stone legs were standing without the body or trunk. The poet continues describing the scenery which had been witnessed by the traveler. And the poet says, near them on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies. So here the poet wants to say that the statue stands in a lonely desert surrounded by endless sand, and near them here represents the trunkless legs of stone. So as I said that the word them represents the trunkless legs of stone, and near the trunkless legs of stone lies the broken face of the statue, which had been half buried in the sand. Then the poet continues that whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculpture well those passions read. So here in these words, the poet is still describing. Next line says that which yet survive, stampede on these lifeless things. So those feelings, those boastful feelings of pride, arrogance, are still visible on the stone fish. even though the statue is a lifeless thing. So still these passions, these emotions are completely understandable, that the kind of king he was, and the sculptor, the artist, so he had perfectly mocked, copied those emotions which had been seen by people during his lifetime. Next line says, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed, and on the pedestal these words appear. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty and despair. So here this word hand, the hand actually represents the hand of the artist. The hand of the artist who had mocked, who had copied the emotions of the king perfectly, and the heart that fed. So the sculptor's hand copied or imitated those emotions through art, and the ruler's heart fed on them. So here it means that he was driven by pride and power. The king was driven by pride and power, and these emotions have been captured by the artist perfectly. And on the pedestal, these words appear. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. So on the pedestal, so here the word pedestal means the base on which a statue is placed. So on the base of the statue, some words have been written. What are the words have been written? That my name is Ozymandias, King of Kings, look on my works, ye mighty and despair. So the inscription declares that the ruler's name was Ozymandias, who saw himself as the greatest of all kings. So these lines show his boastful nature, that he used to think himself as the king of kings. He was Ozymandias is boasting. He challenges other powerful rulers to look at his great achievement that he had achieved during his lifetime, and he is actually trying to mock them. He is trying to make them feel helpless, hopeless, and he is actually making them realize that they could never match his power. And says nothing beside remains round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare. The lone and level stands stretched far away. So the irony is that though he claimed to be the most powerful king, he claimed him to be the king of kings, but the irony is that now look at the situation that we are witnessing now. Nothing beside remains, means nothing remains around the statue. Everything has been changed, everything has been destroyed, everything has been decayed, disappeared. Only the ruins of the statue remains now. So this is the irony, that once upon a time he used to call himself as the king of the kings. Now he has no power now. Even he has lost his life. He has to accept his inevitable death. So death will come to you and death will take your life away. So nothing remains forever, nothing lasts forever. So this is what the poem celebrates. How much power you have, how much strong you are, but at the end of the day, your power, your dominion, your strength will be taken away. And the once great statue is now a colossal wreck. This is the harsh truth that we need to accept, that we are just human beings. But sometimes, being humans, we sometimes tend to forget that we are human beings. We are just creatures like other creatures who are living on this earth. We sometimes think that We are the best animals in this world, and we have achieved so many things uh, throughout uh, throughout our timeline in various specific ages, that we sometimes have this boastful nature among ourselves that nobody can control us. But this is what the poem celebrates actually, that nothing is permanent, and we need to accept this. Nobody is going to stay forever. Your power, your dominion, your control, your authoritarian role, your won't last forever. But the irony is that now look at the present state of the statue, the present ruined state of the statue. Nothing is left now. Even his statue has been broken. Everything has been disappeared, decayed, and the once great statue is now a colossus wreck. It has ended up, and it has ended up and just remained as a ruined structure.